I have prepared my first thread by cutting a length as long as my arm, and then I have separated the strands. So the embroidery thread has got 6 strands. I have separated it so that I have got 3 here ready to stitch, and I have put a knot at the end. So in your stitch guide, I have shown you which colours I've used for which stitch, because I thought that might be useful for you, so that, for example, you say, right, I'm using red, so everywhere she's used dark purple, I'm going to use my red. So we are going to start with the dark purple. In your booklet, again, I take you through how to do all of the stitches for this bottom circle. I then take you through all of the stitches for the top circle, before we then attach the teardrop with this rope stitch around the edge. In the video, I'm going to do it slightly differently. To save you time having to rethread your needle, I'm going to take you through using all of one colour first and then swapping. So depending on how you're going to work, you either may want to join along with the video and do all of one colour, or you may want to just dip into the book and the video if you're a person that likes to get all of one section done first. So on the pincushion, I use the dark purple for these straight stitches on the bottom circle and for the circle of back stitches across the top. So that's what I'm going to do now, starting with the straight stitches. So I have glued it in place, and I'm going to go from top to bottom around as if it's a clock. So I'm going to bring my needle up in the backing felt, not in the circle. So just behind that line, and I'm going to lay it down and hold it in place with my fingers so it lies across where I want it to go, and then again pull my needle down into the backing fabric. I don't know what I did there, that was bizarre. I got it caught in the knot, there we go. So I'm going to just make sure I don't pull it too tight. If you pull it too tight, it's going to warp the felt shape. So don't pull it too tight, and keep it in position with your thumb when you go on to the next stitch. So as I said, I'm now going to come up on the next one as if I'm going around a clock. Pulling it nice and gently, laying it in position, like so. Now, if you're finding that your stitches are not lying nicely as you would like them to, you could do down the bottom and across and then your diagonals like we drew them. That's one alternative. Or you could do star stitch by taking it from the outside into the middle. So I'm going to demonstrate that one now. So the star stitch, just how you would do a star stitch, you would go from the outside of the circle into the center of the circle and do that around instead. Now the advantage of this one means the stitches aren't as long, so you have a little bit more control over where they lie. The disadvantage of this one, sorry, it's warping the ones that I've already done. The disadvantage of this one is that at the end of all the stitching, we are going to do a French knot right in the middle. And if you've already done a star stitch going in and out, then you're going to find it trickier to do your French knot at the end. Now you can see that on mine, actually, they're not lying very flat at all, and the centre's gone completely skew-if. And that's okay, you can kind of jiggery-pokery it with your needle and get things back into position, which I'm going to do. I'm going to try and get them back into position, and then I'm just going to put a little straight stitch over the centre to keep them in position. But for me, I find it neater to do long straight stitches across. You might find star stitch neater. I find my centre goes wonky. Remember, you are going to have lots of embroidery going on, so it doesn't matter if it's not perfectly neat. This is supposed to be fun. The sewing police aren't going to come and inspect. And then as long as you think you can get a French knot in the middle there, that's what we do. So I'm going to finish off that purple thread now, and I'm going to go on to the purple thread in the top circle. For the top circle, we need to do a line of backstitch to start off with before we can put our lacing in between. So we've split up the circle into these 8 sections to help us. You're going to bring up your needle roughly 2 to 3 millimeters inside that line, roughly. Bring up the needle, and then you're going to go down on the next segment to create your first stitch. Don't pull your stitches too tight. Okay, and we're going to do a back stitch. So we're going to come up the next segment along and go back into where we've just come out. So the next segment along, and then I'm going to take that needle back down into the previous hole to create a back stitch. And I'm going to do it gently so that my thread doesn't get knotted. Okay, I'm going to repeat that around. So up the next section, gently pull through, down the previous hole. Don't pull your thread too tight. And this is where the guidelines are really helpful, so that you can just spread out your stitches as you go all the way around. And they're going to create more of a kind of spider's web look than a circle, but we're going to use this as the basis for our interlacing. Okay, that final stitch there, and then finish it off the back. Take your needle under a stitch, back through the loop, and knot it off. So that is all of the dark purple stitching that you need on the sections. So you could either go along now and do all of the purple on the teardrops and get that bit done, or you could do the rest of the stitching so you've completed one teardrop and then go on to the next one. So I'm going to demonstrate how to do the whole of this teardrop. Either go away and do all of the purple stitching and then come back, or carry on and watch the next part of the video where I'm going to do change to my lilac colour, and for that one I'm going to be doing the French knots around the large circle at the bottom and the Eskimo lacing on the top one.